Hey, welcome back to the channel, y'all. If anybody saw my message from yesterday, I know I said I wasn't going to post anything today, but here we are. So let's do it. Again, welcome back. Today I want to talk about how our lives change, how we change, and how forgiveness is something that we might struggle with. I talked about forgiveness in a video recently, but in this case it relates to forgiving ourselves and how that actually can be embodied in ways we may not actually consider it. In my situation, it involved reflecting on things that I'd done in the past, how I treated people, people that I cared about deeply, but I hadn't risen to the occasion and been the quality of person that those people deserved at that time. And how I reflect on that, or reflected on that, and then felt grief in my now, in the moment that I'm currently living as this new version of myself, this version of myself that's nothing like that old person. But then that grief turns into this thought spiral. And that thought spiral starts to bring up a lot of old emotions. And it starts to create this whole head and heart space of how people deserved better from me. And at the time, I wasn't capable of doing that. And that head and heart space then becomes, I'm not good enough now. The problem with that is that if we've gone through a drastic change, but then we're dealing in that same grief, we're bringing ourselves back to an unnecessary point of pity or even hardship on ourselves. We start to see ourselves very critically. And if your experience has been like mine, you tend to talk to yourself in very harsh ways in those moments. And that's not something that we deserve. If we've gone through some transformation and we know that we've made better for ourselves and that we're doing better for the people around us, why would we talk to ourselves like an old version of us? Why would we let ourselves think of a past situation that we know we would never relive, we would never do to somebody, and then let that affect what we're doing now? Let that affect how the new version of us feels about ourselves. That's us sticking ourselves back into an old cycle, an old way of being. That's us bringing our past into our now and dragging our new selves down into a place that they're not meant to be in, that we're not meant to live in. So we have to forgive those things with ourselves. We have to be able to acknowledge, yes, that was a way that I had been in the past. Those are things that I did. Those are ways that I may have negatively impacted people that I've very deeply cared about. And then we acknowledge that we are not those people now. We have to be able to see that. And we have to be able to forgive that past, letting it go, knowing that we are living better and differently now. That is what frees up the space for us to truly embody the new versions of ourselves and to radiate that, to live in that energy. Be proud of ourselves. Be confident in ourselves, knowing that we're not that old version of ourselves anymore. That old version of ourselves is left behind. We're not trying to close the door on it. We're not trying to say that it never existed. We're not trying to stuff it away into the abyss. We acknowledge it. And then we forgive ourselves for it. And we live newer, better, evolved lives for ourselves and then the people around us. And if that still hurts because maybe the people that you cared about aren't involved in your life, well, eventually, if those people want to come back around, or they begin to see the positive changes you've embodied and the person that you've become, they may come to you and want to include you in their lives because now they see the quality of person that you are. You don't have to make it work. You just do the best you can. Continue to evolve. Continue to be the better version of yourself and be proud of it. Forgive your past so that you don't beat yourself up about it as you evolve into this better version of yourself. I hope that made sense. And I hope that helped. That's something that I needed to reflect on for myself personally because it was a hard and heavy weight to carry, knowing that I'm nothing like what I used to be. So if you do struggle with that from time to time, that's normal and it's okay. So please don't beat yourself up for that. Just remember that you're living a better life. You're doing better things. You're sharing love and happiness with yourself and with other people. And that's what you should keep doing. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge and embrace that while you acknowledge and release the old version of you, the old things you did. Again, I hope that helped. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with a friend. Leave me a comment, let me know if you think this was helpful. Have a nice night, y'all.